Rush and the late great Neil Peart. Hope I'm saying it right. I was calling him Neil Peart
for the longest, right?
But he was Peart, so I hope I'm saying it correctly. But hey, excellent drummer. Rush always have been like one of my favorite bands, favorite rock bands. Got into them, I think, when their Signals album came out, and then kind of went back down the rabbit trail to grab stuff up. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to actually see them live and in person. Got several live albums by them, but just an awesome band. And to see that door close on such a great band with Neil's passing, sad thing. So anyway, hey, Neil, Geddy, Alex, man, guys were just awesome as a band.
Yeah. Aw. Well, it's I guess in a complete pivot from but related turn from our sadness about passing Neil Peart to we're episode 109, 3 tips for happiness for the DIY rock star. So that is our pivot into those of us who are left and living.
Yeah. But I mean, even if we think about what Neil did and the mark that he left, I mean, not only did he leave his mark as a great drummer, great lyricist for Rush, but he also wrote novels. So, he just left his mark in so many different places. And when you start thinking about kind of why we do all of this in the first place, it is so that we can have a lasting legacy, like, what Rush left. I just happened to go down one of the rabbit holes.
Yes,
I was working out, and it was a whole week of not even the same song playing again.
No.
By just going through all of their different albums that they've put together. So, they've left more than enough for us, more than a lifetime. And for, generations after that to kind of sink into and go down that rabbit hole. But that's kind of that's why we do it. Is that there's a certain immortality that music, art gives you. We think about immortality in the sense of if, you're religious or whatever else, and you think about whatever the afterlife is. But there is a life that continues here, whether it's a John Lennon or it's a Jimi Hendrix. I think we had this discussion before. I don't know what it is about music. It just seems like there's a certain immortality that musicians have that I don't think that you necessarily get from people, talking about Clark Gable. Who was a great.
Talking about that with Johnny Carson.
Humphrey Bogart or Johnny Carson or Bob Hope. People who when we were growing up, you couldn't even think about a world of people not knowing who that person is. But we still live in a world where people still know who Jimi Hendrix is. Even though you didn't come up during that era. I mean, so again, it's like for me, when I could just even remember knowing about music, Jimi Hendrix wasn't alive. Hendrix was gone by 1970. He was here from 1967 to 1970. 3 years. And this man is completely immortal with respect to what he does. So anyway, that's kind of why we do it. But along the way, what are the 3 steps we need to do?
The 3 tips that we can take away. Yeah, I like it. All right. So he was here 3 years, and we have 3 tips. These are kind of left over from our Blog-vember. If you haven't seen our Blog-vember 2019 post, tips for the DIY rockstar, make sure you check those out. But 3 things that you can definitely do in our, decades and decades of living. The 3 things that we've come away with are take care of your temple. Your temple meaning your body and anything that you can control around you. And that's important because if you plan to have longevity, if you plan to be Mick Jagger or Keith Richards or any of those, you need to take care of the body that you have been given.
So and maybe actually for Keith Richards, you almost have to say
in spite of
that Keith Richards doesn't count because we all know that Keith Richards lives off the blood of young virgins.
Oh my God!
And that he changes his blood over every 2 or 3 weeks. So we understand that goes on with Keith Richards, and we know that at the end, when there is is a nuclear holocaust or whatever happens,
he will still be alive.
There will be cockroaches and Keith Richards.
Oh,
so we already know that. So for Keith Richards, we kind of put this to the side, right? So, but for us normal, mortal human beings,
right? Who don't plan to suck blood and worship things.
If you can't do all of that stuff, if you haven't figured that out,
take care of your body,
right? You have to do the normal stuff to try to take care of your body.
Try to eat well. Try to get exercise. And try not to put bad things in your body.
Just try to do that part of it.
Even as your DIY rock star, we can't be doing all kinds of bad things.
Especially once you get past a certain age.
Yeah, if you want to keep living now, if you don't care.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be in the 27 club, then have it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm past 27, so I can't be in that club.
Right.
So, I mean, when you start thinking about, okay, what are you going to do after that?
Right.
Then, you need to kind of make sure that you have regular exercise, kind of watch what you eat.
Yeah.
And try to reduce stress that's harmful to you. What do I mean by that? And I mean that's stress that when you're stressing out about things that you can't control, that are outside of your control, then that's the kind of stress that's harmful to you. There's other stress that is good for you. When you challenge yourself, when you do all of those type of things, that's a whole different type of situation because these are things that are within your control. The things that are outside of your control is like, when there was a storm and the lights were going out and all the rest of this kind of stuff, I can't stress out about it. I mean, because it is what it is.
You have to catch yourself. It is anybody.
I mean,
nothing you can do about that.
If the light's gonna go out, if you're flooding the basement or whatever, that you just have to deal with what happens after that. You know what I mean? Really. I mean, that's just the way it is. And everything in your life is always gonna have peaks and valleys. And I think you have to be ready to deal with both. So, because as Biggie said, more money, more problems. So don't always think that just because things are going well, that means that you don't have problems.
And that even is a nod back to our previous episode, which was how to make failure your friend. So, all right. The second tip to find happiness for the DIY rockstar is to find someone to join you or at least to support your creative vision. It's hard to do it alone.
You can't. I mean, really, you have to always understand. And I think we were watching this thing on Netflix. It was dealing with Hip Hop Evolution. I think is the series, and really you start understanding. I think hip hop more than anything else. Music is a cultural experience. It's a shared cultural experience. You can't necessarily do this on an island, and it's got this. It's kind of weird. It's like music is that one art form that you can't see, but you really just can feel. And I think that because of that, it is probably even more tied to being a cultural experience than anything else. And so it's baked into that. It's like the ones who end up being superstars are because they happen to catch a wave within the culture. They happen to come along at the right time, to catch that wave. And that's why.
Right. And so the wave being people who are interested and who are giving life to whatever that vision is. If they hear it and like it. I mean, we were hearing that what was a Q-Tip that was hearing
Jay Dilla,
and he was playing it for everybody.
He was just on it, and Amp Fiddler, who's here in Detroit, Jay Dilla, they came there, and although he was saying, the stuff that they had put together, sound quality was a whack, but he could hear the genius within Jay Dilla during that period of time. But then again, that goes back again. You're gonna need that person. We always talk about self-made man. I'm a self-made thing. Nobody is. Nobody's ever self-made. You always have help. You always have assistance. You always have that along the way. So always understand that aspect of what you're doing with music is that your music is always and forever will be communal. That's the biggest part of your success is understanding that thing with community and finding your tribe. It could be a tribe of one. Sometimes it starts off as being because that first follower that you have is really your ultimate leader because a lot of times that's going to be your first cheerleader, that first person that's out there. That's your John the Baptist. You might be Jesus, but that's your John the Baptist. And Jesus can't become Jesus unless he has a John the Baptist. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Y'all don't hear what I'm saying. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Am I preaching right now?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Oh, no. Y'all gonna make me go into tongues. Okay. Go ahead.
All right, and the final tip. Oh, my goodness. How dare we follow this up? The final tip is if you want to live a long, happy life, for a D.I.Y. rockstar is to find joy in everything you do or to make time for joyful experiences.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's about the journey, and we talk about that with D.I.Y. Rockstar.
Right.
I really don't know, to be honest, if I'd like to go from where we are all the way to the top. I kind of like to enjoy the levels. I can see progress, and that makes me happy.
Yeah. Versus,
it's kind of scary when all of a sudden you get this. I mean, even from some of the things that we've done, you get this rush of attention, and it's like, you know, that's an adjustment.
Yeah.
So I kind of take joy in the fact that, oh, okay, we got a few more here, a few more there, a few more interactions, a few more our network is a little stronger and bigger, but it's not overnight. It definitely is not overnight. So I'm taking my time and enjoying the journey.
Yeah, I think that, you know, you really have to get to a point where you have to find your joy within yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't expect other people to do it. So meaning that you can't say, okay, I'm going to be happy, or, you know, I'll get a chance to experience the joy when I have success.
Right, no.
Because you they can never be relying on other people.
Yeah.
Again, you know, other people can't make you happy. You know, hear that with marriages and things like that. It's like husband and wife.
Yeah.
You know, a husband can't make a wife happy. Wife can't make a husband happy. If, you know, first you got to start with yourself. And then that kind of goes back to the thing is you got to love yourself.
Yeah,
you got to start off loving yourself.
Yeah.
You got to develop a sense of humor with yourself. You can't take yourself too seriously.
Because you're going to make mistakes.
You're going to make mistakes, and you got weaknesses. Yeah. I'm sorry. You know, you're just not, you're not perfect, and you're never going to be perfect. And so I think that sometimes you have to find the humor even in the lowest moments. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is where you kind of start finding your joy, because I think, you know, it goes back to that. I mean, you don't want to be around a dour person. No. And even if it's yourself, you don't want to be around a dour person. You want to be around a person that's got a sense of humor. You want to be around a person that can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And that you always have to understand that is the way life is. It's peaks and valleys. Yeah. You know, and so it's not easy to enjoy the valleys, but you have to find some joy in those moments, and sometimes you have to relish the small victories.
I was about to say
that you have in spite of that,
and that's even sometimes getting up out of bed. You hear people dropping dead left and right. You say, "Thank you, Lord." It's another chance.
Being able to sometimes it's the small things. Just saying, "Hey, you know, I was able to write a song today. Yeah. I was able to, you know, work out today. I was able to practice my skills today. I was able, whatever little thing that you're able to do sometimes in those low moments is that thing where you have to kind of keep pushing on. So,
ooh, I love it. All right, so what are your tips? I know we shared 3 tips to find happiness for the D.I.Y. Rockstar, but what are your tips? What are your go-to thing that you do in order to recenter yourself and find that happiness to motivate you to keep going? We'd love to hear from you. Drop it in the comments below. Upcoming South by Southwest 2020.
Yeah, it is
just
coming up.
Just a few short months, and we'll be vlogging every day for that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's really less than 2 months away.
It is. So
I mean, because it's like it's like the mid part of March.
Yep, and we're already toward the end of January.
And February is a short month, even though I think it's a leap year this year.
Is it? Okay.
I don't know. If I'm wrong, let me know.
All right, but if you want to check out footage from past South by Southwest, our first one ever, I'll drop some links in the description. But as always, if you dig the vibe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and peace.